Alright everybody, welcome back to another turn of Operation Schultz. This will be turn 17 for the British Commonwealth and Free French. Before we get into it, a few minor bits of housekeeping with the Japanese turn. There may have been one more American naval transport that survived in P-50. The fighter that took it out had to pass the 7th Fleet, which has fighters, which stopped that from happening. So I don't think that naval transport was possibly destroyed. And then there was some error roll on the roll with P16 as well. I'm going to leave both of these bits of housekeeping to when 5-star, our Japanese player, returns in the morning. He's currently asleep. So if there's some defense, something we didn't think about, then the board will just not have been changed yet. So we'll just keep moving on from there. Moving on, I have one decision that Davik is going to be able to make, but it will be in the non-combat movement, and it's very insignificant, so I'm going to just go ahead and record without his input on that, and if he wants to take his chances on that decision, he can roll that very simply as housekeeping, and it won't affect much, so I'll go ahead and get into the recording. Alright, I have rolled the tech off-screen using Dice Maiden once more. I've got a miss of 5 on Improved Factories and a miss of 5 on LRA. Very unfortunate, but oh well. Alright, moving on to the buys. For the British Commonwealth, or for GB, I'm buying 1 transport plane, 2 militia upgrades, 2 marines, 1 colonial infantry, and 1 half of an airfield. The FEC are buying a medium tank for Lend-Lease, a militia upgrade, and a Gurkha for their entire 12. And then the Anzac is purchasing a transport plane, saving 1. Alright, let's get into the combat moves. We have only a few. First off, one of the naval transports from Suez is coming out and going 1, 2, 3 into I1, I4. I think that's I1. And it's going to pick up. Oh shit! Sorry, I'm not supposed to swear. I deleted the wrong line. One of the lines is just gonna come to I4 and then back into the Red Sea, so it's not like I'm gonna struggle to remember that. The naval transport in I1 is going to pick up a infantry from Cape Town, and it's going to amphibiously assault Madagascar. And that's going to be a free capture. Alright. The other naval transport from Suez is, as mentioned, going from Suez from the Red Sea into I4 and then back into the Red Sea. While it's in I4, it's going to pick up the infantry and marine from British Somaliland, and they are going to be participating in an amphibious assault of Nubia. Joining them is going to be the fighter from British Somaliland, and both fighters from Suez. 1, 2. All 3 of those aircraft have 2 movement with which to land. Okay, that's non-combat. That's non-combat. Everything here is non-combat. In Iran, the GB infantry is going to capture southern Iraq. And then the submarine that started in M9 is going to move 1, 2, 3, and be joined by the submarine that started in A44, 1, 2. And they're both going to raid in M3 on the Italian line. I do believe that's going to be all of my combat moves. Just the only things to roll are Nubia and the convoy raiding. The rest was done with recaptures. I didn't mention in the placement or in the buying phase, I do want to start repairing this battleship. It's not going to be moving anywhere. That's what those black lines are for. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and roll our combats. Let's do the convoy rating first. I should be rolling at a +2, just a +2, and the Italians will be rolling at nothing. Okay, so the first submarine does the 1 damage. Okay. And that would be 1 point from the Italians. Okay. And they will be marked as rating as well, for clarity's sake. Okay, let's roll for Nubia, which is going to have 2 infantry class at 1 and 3 fighters at 6. Oh. That's for round 1. No bombards, no first strike. Okay. Round 1. Absolutely nothing. Joyful. Okay, and then the German, I'll have a black die. On round 1, miss. Okay. Round 2. That's going to be a hit on the fighter, and miss on the German unit. Okay. So that is Nubia recaptured with no loss in GB units. Okay, now at the end of the combat phase, all 3 of those fighters are going to return to Suez. Well, the one that didn't start there isn't returning, but he's still going to be there. And now we can get into non-combat movements. Alright, from Africa, we just have 1 left. British Somaliland has a transport plane that's flying 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to pick up the airborne and then fly 5, 6 to Maha. Alright, all from India, the 2 Gurkhas in Punjab are walking into southern Iran. The 1 infantry in Bengal is railing to southern Iran. And the destroyer that started in I-12 is moving 1, 2 over to P-59. The seaplanes, which started in the Northern Territory, are flying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going to fly all the way to southern Iran, 7. They don't have LRA, but they do get 1 bonus movement for flying from a seaplane hangar. Okay. And then more movements in India. The infantry in Northern Territory is walking to Western Australia. The militia from Northern Territory is walking to Queensland. The militia in Queensland is walking to New South Wales. And the airborne in New South Wales is walking into Sydney. And that covers all of Australia's movements. FEC is covered. Alright, in the Mediterranean. The 2 destroyers, which started in M9, are moving 1, 2, 3 into Gibraltar. The Italians do get a chance to engage those 2 destroyers with 2 coastal submarines if he chooses to do that. I'm going to assume he doesn't, and just keep going through. But it'll be easy enough to fix if he gets back to me and he does want to use those. All right, so that those units are going to go in port in Gibraltar. If they make it past those submarines, and that should cover all of the non-combat movements across my entire empire. All right, let's place buys and move on to the French. The medium tank is, of course, going to be going to France. That's all. So this is going to be a airfield in progress built in Basque. And I will also place that on the board. Alright, and then this all gets placed along with 2 militia upgrades for GB and 1 for FEC. Alright, so up in the home islands, there's going to be 1 marine built in the northern England. In Cape Town, we're going to get 1 marine and 1 air transport. There's going to be a colonial, a militia upgrade, and a militia in Suez. So that's going to be a difference of a colonial and an infantry. And then just a militia upgrade in Belgian Congo. So that is an infantry, but the militia goes away. There's a militia for GB in southern Iran. The Gurkha is going to go in Punjab. The the militia upgrade is going to go in Delhi. And the transport plane is, of course, going to be built in Sydney. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, okay. Alright, so let's move on to the French turn. Actually, collect income. Great Britain has 30 plus 3 for Suez. That's 34. FEC collects 10, brings them to 10. Anzac collects 8, bringing them to 9. Alright. The Free French are going to buy nothing and collect 2. They do get a medium tank that the Anzac sent to them. Alright, so their combat move is going to be the medium tank in Cameroon is going to attack Sudan with both the units from Belgian Congo and everything from Tanganyika. And that's going to be it. Alright, so let's go ahead and roll that. I'll roll for the tanks first. They do have a river penalty. So 2 tanks at 5. Do get 1 hit, and 1 shot back with a militia at a 2. Miss. Fantastic. Okay, so that it will also be returned to the British Commonwealth. And that is that complete. Okay, for non-combats, the Foreign Legion Cameroon is walking into Belgian Congo. Alright, that should be everything. I should be ready to pass the board off to Davik for his Italians. Oh, this is going to be repaired now. Okay, that should be ready to pass off to Davik. Before I save the file and send over the video, I'm going to go through the unit disposition for my factions to help out Tactical with his board adjustments. Alright, we'll start with the Anzac units. North Island and South Island of New Zealand each have 1 militia. Sydney has 1 transport plane, 4 militia, and 1 airborne. New South Wales has 4 militia. Queensland has 1 militia. Western Australia has 1 infantry and 1 marine. There's a FEC destroyer in P59. Nothing else in the Indian Ocean. I guess there's transport by Cape Town. We'll get to that in a moment. In India, Bengal is empty, Benares, Southern India, and Kashmir are empty. Punjab has 1 Gurkha, Delhi has 1 infantry, Maharashtra has 1 airborne, and then also 1 GB transport plane. Calcutta has 4 infantry, 3 militia, and 3 AAA. And then in the Middle East, Southern Iran has 15 Gurkhas, 1 infantry, and then 1 GB militia, and 2 GB seaplanes. Southern Iraq has 1 GB infantry. Transjordan has 1 militia. And Aden has 1 militia. That's it for the Middle East. Alright, for Africa, the Horn has nothing now. Nubia has 1 infantry, 1 marines. Upper Egypt has nothing. Lower Egypt has 2 GB infantry, 2 GB colonial infantry, 1 Anzac infantry, 1 GB militia, 2 GB AAA, 2 GB fighters, 1 FEC fighter, 2 Free French infantry, and then in port to the south is 2 battleships, 2 heavy cruisers, and an FEC light carrier. And in port to the north is an FEC battleship and a GB heavy cruiser. In I-5 in the Red Sea is going to be an FEC naval transport, a GB light cruiser and destroyer, and then an Anzac light cruiser. That covers the northern region. Sudan has 2 Free French AAA, 7 infantry, and 2 medium tanks. Belgian Congo has 2 infantry for GB and then 1 Foreign Legion. Cameroon just has 2 Free French militia. Cape Town has 1 transport plane, 1 airborne, 1 marines, 2 militia. And then Madagascar has 1 infantry for GB. And there's an FEC naval transport in I-1. And then lastly, in Africa, French Morocco is unchanged. 2 militia, 2 Foreign Legion, and 4 infantry. Alright, in Iberia, Gibraltar has 9 infantry, 1 colonial infantry, 1 militia, 2 Free French destroyers in port, and then the 4th Fleet, which is 4 destroyers, a coastal defense ship, and a light carrier, also in port in Gibraltar. Nothing in the southern side of Spain. Oh, I did miss a non-combat move I wanted to do in Spain. So I'm leaving in Catalonia just 1 militia, 1 fighter, and 1 tactical bomber. The other 3 infantry class units, that's 2 infantry and a mountain infantry, are going to be walking over to Basque. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that is in Basque, just those 2 infantry, 1 mountain infantry, and 1 militia that are there for me. This stack has no GB or Free French units. Okay, moving to the North Atlantic. There's nothing in Canada, nothing in the Atlantic. Um, in England, we have 2 infantry, 2 militia, and 2 AAA in London. In southern England, we have 1 seaplane, 1 colonial infantry, 1 Anzac artillery, and then 3 GB militia. Northern England has 4 infantry, 2 marines, 1 militia, and then in port to the west is going to be 3 naval transports. And then Scotland has just 1 militia. With that, everything should be covered, and I should be ready to pass the board off to Davik for his Italian turn, and best of luck.